So universities of the future, with the advent of the internet and things like TED Talks, the way that education is delivered is changing very rapidly. And, sorry, I was about to shut down the system. The auto system shutdown will occur in 1 minute. Cancel. I just cancelled it. That's good. That's just. Hopefully it keeps going. Yeah. So yeah, sorry. So university delivery methods are changing very quickly, and my proposal provides facilities for the university to record and broadcast lectures and performances to the world, providing education delivery to the masses for free, and the university simply making money from charging students to sit examinations or to have their assignments marked. So this is the site here. So this is the centre of Newcastle. You have the Hunter River and the harbour here, and Newcastle Beach down here. So it's a prominent location on King Street, and with it on a northeast facing slope, which opens up to the northeast summer breezes, and the cathedral and the hill to the south, protecting it from all that bad weather we get from the south. So it's on this axis from the highest point in Newcastle at the obelisk, all the way through all the old buildings, all the old government buildings, through the cathedral, down through the old Market Square and Hunter Street, and finally through the Queen's Wharf Pinnacle Tower. And then the car park has great views to the north of the big working harbour and the Nobby's Island and Lighthouse, all the way through to Carrington and the industry over there, as well as a bit of a presence overlooking Hunter Street Mall and all the trees lying there. And it has an imposing view from to the south as well, with the big cathedral on the southern hill and the cathedral park, as well as some views up the Hunter Valley and towards the beach to the east. So it's a fantastic spot, and there's this car park. So it was built in the 60s, and it was very useful in its day when cars were seen as the way of the future. It has since become very underused. There's a council-owned car park, and they currently use it to store their fleet vehicles. So all these fleet vehicles are sitting there with a great view. And so when I started to approach the car park, I realised to renovate the structure, the massive floor plate didn't allow light to get into the centre, which kind of led me to Gordon Clark and the way he cut buildings to give these existing buildings that were derelict a new way of looking at the existing architecture, as well as Levius's Woods work, and in particular this scab project, which a new architecture was applied to an old structure that gave it a new lease on life, breathed new life into this building. As well as OMA's use of models in terms of design really influenced and was a precedent for my design process. So then when I started to approach the site, I started to look and place value on the existing structure and what could be useful for a renovation to exist. So the two end plates in yellow are the flat areas of the existing structure and were deemed very valuable, and the edge of the site, which had access to the light and the view, were also deemed to be of value as well, ventilation things. And this blue line here is that axis between the obelisk, the cathedral, all the way running down through Market Square and out to Queen's Wharf here. And that axis is where this incision is made. So you start with the existing structure, the valley is cut, and the structure is renovated and program inserted into it, and then a broadcast theatre is designed, which is then inserted into the existing structure. So you have this progression from the existing structure and an intervention that happens to make the rest of the building work valuable again. So the way the broadcast theatre was essentially designed around a camera, and the way a camera uses to record and broadcast information. So at the stage, when you're filming a performance like a lecture, you need a very narrow stage, and cameramen, because if they work with can't work with wide angle lenses, it has to be a very narrow lens so you can capture exactly what's happening towards the centre And cameramen also like the two walls to be angled in, focusing your attention to the centre. So you end up with a very narrow end, and the fly tower makes it a very narrow and tall end. And then the stage needs to be deep to get some depth in a recorded image. You need to have some depth. And then fans out to seat 150 people, but it potentially could be broadcast to millions. Now the fly tower here allows an outdoor amphitheatre on the roof, which is grass, and the underside of this is wrapped in copper. So this outdoor amphitheatre is used for performances at dusk, or just as a university green overlooking the north and the city and the harbour. So the program of the whole building is on the roof. There's an orchard. Essentially on this side, there's student housing. You can see all the student housing stacked up here, and then everything's kind of orientated around the broadcast theatre. The student living areas all looking in towards that copper wall with the light coming down from the top and to the gardens below. So this is the under canopy garden below the lecture theatre here. And then on this side is essentially all the university services and facilities. And on the ground floor at the back, down on this southern side, there's a sandstone wall that runs all the way down to the base of the building, where there's some a bathhouse for the students, which looks into this garden below and to the sandstone wall to the south. So when you enter the building, you enter over that gap, over that sandstone wall, across a bridge, and into the existing structure. You can go into the university here, or you continue straight, walking on just a balustrade, and the light from above, next to this copper wall, up the stairs, and out onto this veranda before entering the theatre. So you can see that in watercolour. So you enter here, and you're walking under this existing structure and into this double height space.
Sorry, what's that window in the back of the theatre?
I'll get to that. Oh. Yeah, and then, so you enter in, and you are walking next to this copper wall with the gardens below, and the steps leading you up to the horizon, where you're drawn out and you're rewarded with this view from the veranda, view over the city and the harbour, before you turn and enter into the lecture theatre. So in section, Chris, that window is the back wall of the theatre is an operable wall, so the glass can be glass is there, but a mechanical curtain folds down over it. And so when you enter the theatre, you have a view up the hill towards the cathedral and the cathedral park. This is also coming back to the camera. So for most of the viewers of the lectures and performances that are produced here, when they first click play on the internet, there's a thumbnail image, and that for this broadcast theatre, that thumbnail image will be of the cathedral and the harbour and the lecturer standing below. And then before the performance starts, the curtain drops, blackout, you can have your performance then. So it's all about how this building produces online. So you can see in section here this sandstone wall that goes down, and the baths are just beyond these gardens here. So this is the under canopy garden underneath that copper wall. And you've got the veranda overlooking the city, and this university green and amphitheatre that can be used for dusk performances or night performances on the roof here. You see the orchard beyond, and all the university student housing looking at the underside of this copper and down to the gardens below. So in section, you can start to see this gap between the lecture theatre and the university that's inserted into the rest of the building. So the lecture theatre is wrapped in copper. It comes all the way up and acts as the balustrade for the outdoor amphitheatre on the top. And then there's a small window here, which is also with an operable curtain. And so that's to provide light that comes down and reflects off these timber panelling. So to supplement artificial lighting, you can be naturally lit, but if it requires blackout, it's got that mechanical curtain to close it off. So then in section, you can start to see how it all comes together. the relationship between this big, the copper broadcast here, and you have all these student housing. So the student housing essentially works because there are flat floor plates here on the ends. All the bedrooms are put in here, but there's quite a low ceiling height. So to get the required ceiling height, every second floor is removed over the living areas, and the false floor is put in because of the sloping floor. And so you get all the students sharing these double height living spaces that look into this copper with the light coming from above and the greenery below. The same thing starts to happen on the university side. So the top 3 levels are still open to the elements, but below where more of the learning and library, electronics libraries is closed off with louvers windows. And then on the ground floor you have these bathhouses. These on both sides look into the garden and this copper beast above and the sandstone wall beyond. So you really see it start to open up to the north, and you have this big copper underbelly with a big scooped out area for the sun to come in and for these plants. And all the buildings step back off the old structure, so that car park is still red. You still see that car park structure and the building behind it. And you can start to see here the housing and the university looking at this copper underbelly. And the big veranda as the breakout space overlooking the city, and the outdoor amphitheatre on the roof. So this kind of contrasts the south facade, where this cut is much smaller, much more subdued, and the window is and the insertion is just set behind the line of the old building, the old car park. So your view from from King Street, is you see that you get a glimpse of the copper underside of this building and the orchard on the roof. It's all set back. But then on the other side, you really get the underside of the belly and the greenery growing below. And everything, you start to see these indoor spaces, the student housing, living rooms, and all looking into this copper and the gardens below. Thank you very much.